Are we rolling? Okay. Hi, everybody watching the video. Oh, hey, welcome. Grab a seat. Well, let's save a seat for Isabella. Why don't you hold that Chuck right there? And that's what she gets it. And that rubber split up. Come on, we saved you a seat. Okay, so this is a brief intro from me, just to say I'm here to moderate, guide the discussion. I think this is going to be a little more casual than I initially thought. It'll be fun. When I discussed with Laszlo and some of you last night about how this looks, we talked about it being more like a conversation that you don't get to have with these folks. Maybe conversations we have, as we travel through events, but not something that all the rest of the community gets to have. So I'm going to try to keep us on a couple topics and not talking too much. This will probably, hopefully, be the extent of my talking at the beginning.
I hope so.
Yeah, please. Let's keep it fun. It doesn't have to be serious. Think about, when you go out for coffee, you're not taking notes. Let's keep it fun. And then now that it's so small and Laszlo's going to be running errands, bringing us coffee, I think it makes it more fun. So I'm not going to do intros because the first question is going to be asking people about themselves, so you guys can do that. I think that kind of covers my notes. Oh yeah, if there's anything I'm forgetting to say now, then I'll just remind you as we go. So the rules can change. And we're going to do this in two main parts. A little personal. So not necessarily let's talk about all these dance things serious and tell you. We're going to talk about each other like you would in a coffee. No side talk. Rule number 1, no side talk for Chuck. We will just talk like you would. Hey, who are you? And the benefit, by the way, of not having 500 people is you guys get to share who you are too. And then we'll do a little bit more about dance thoughts and stuff like that. So, without further ado, it means a do is like a do is stuff, like more talking, more less confetti. So without more of that, without talking and confetti, we're going to move on, and I'm going to throw out the first question, and then I will listen and guide from there, and you guys can take it. And I'm just going to say that why don't someone volunteer to start telling us where you're from, and if possible, like a short story about how that shapes you as a person or a dancer. Oh, thank you, waiter. Thank you.
Waiter.
Can I get a coffee, please? Thank you. Black?
Sure.
And if that shapes you as a person or a dancer, it doesn't, everything we say today doesn't have to be about dancing. We'll get there, but just be you. So, who are you? Where are you from? Paleolithic era is okay. I like to pick on Chuck. Oh, we got a table. All right, feel free to pick a food and whatever. Don't there aren't that many rules. Most of the rules are about me not talking a lot and Chuck not talking a lot. Everyone else is fine. Yes, and I'm going to be watching time, so I'm sorry to interrupt, but here we go. Yeah, you can start. Where are you from? Talk about you. Anyone. You guys.
You go first.
Anyone. Why don't we do names first? How's that? I'm TJ.
Charles.
Isabella.
Danny.
What is that?
Danny.
Can you spell that? Spell it.
D-A-L-O-N-Y.
Okay, Danny. All right. I'm just checking. Anya.
Andy.
Andy. Andy, you want to turn the thing?
Maria.
Simeon.
In case you didn't know. So anyone, you guys could start. Talk about yourself. Say where you're from. Kind of how that shapes you as a person or dancer.
I'm from California originally. I grew up in California, Northern California, not Southern California.
That's in the U.S.
That's in the U.S. I lived in Japan a lot when I was a kid, and now I live in, where do I live? Do I even live anywhere? I live in Oregon, which is north of California, in the U.S. when I'm home. But I spend 3 months usually in Singapore, and then the rest I'm With Simeon mostly. The rest I'm around Europe usually.
So does the when did all that traveling, moving around outside of California start?
I started dancing full time. I started traveling. My first traveling for dancing was 2006. I went to France, 2006, and then 2007 I went to Australia and New Zealand.
So before all that, we'll get back to the dancing. Your time in California before that, how does that make you who you are?
Are you asking me have I traveled before I started dancing?
No, I said the time in California. How does that shape you as a person or dancer?
And California is the most awesome place in the world, of course, right? It's very multicultural. It's great up and very, yeah. California has a broad range of everything, from the outdoors to the beach to desert to, I think, some of the best places to live. It's amazing. Don't you agree?
I love it. Yeah, but this is about me.
It isn't?
Well, there's a little.
Okay,
Barely.
okay.
Barely. That's good. So yeah. Anyone else? Oh, we have new entrants. What's your name, sir?
My name is Laszlo and I don't want to drink anymore.
Okay. well, we'll talk about that later. Different meeting, but we could follow up. Anyone else?
Okay, so my name is Maria. I'm from Russia, Saratov originally.
Where's
The
that?
name of the city. It's to the south from Moscow, not super far. How much kilometers?
800 kilometers.
800 kilometers south from Moscow.
So is that big or small?
Uh,
1 million.
This is big.
you mean
Your city.
like almost 1 million people?
Okay. So not
A little bit less,
That's
but together with another small city, it's 1 million, which is like one region.
Okay.
Yeah, so a few years ago we moved to Moscow, so now we live in Moscow with Simon, and we moved for teaching and for training, dancing.
So did you spend most of your life in this? What? Say the name of the place again.
Saratov.
Saratov. Did you spend all your time there before Moscow?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm a lawyer, so my education is a lawyer, and I had a legal profession for 4 years, and then we moved to Moscow, and
Okay.
Past life.
yeah.
So during the time in Saratov.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna forget that in 7 minutes. Did you feel like it was just normal 1 million size person life, or what did that do for you as either a lawyer or a dancer?
Like living in Saratov, you of course you can't organize your life, and you can find a job, and all your friends are around you, and your parents of course too, and but if you want more from life, you need to find some another opportunities, and it's better to find them. It's easier to find them in a bigger city like Moscow.
1 million is big though. It's a big
Yeah.
city. You have a nice river in your town.
Yeah, it's huge. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Okay, your time is up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on Russia, why don't we take anyone else from Russia?
My name is Simeon.
Okay.
I'm also from Saratov.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, what I can add to Maria is that in Russia it's a little bit weird situation, but it's true. We have actually two countries. We have like a joke. It's two countries in Russia. It's Moscow and other cities.
And the rest.
And the
of
rest,
country.
yes. So that's why Moscow is getting bigger and bigger and growing, because it's all money in the country is in Moscow.
Okay.
And it's really difficult to, if we are talking about dancing and teaching full time, it's really difficult to be in Saratov and build your own studio, your own business. It's not easy.
It's possible.
Yeah, but it's not easy, and especially if we're talking about our life schedule. Yeah, if you wanna really travel a lot, it's not easy to travel from Saratov because obviously you can fly to Moscow, but it's more time.
So you said just a quick follow up on all that. You made a comment that if you can have a job, you can have stuff, but if you want to do something else, you got to go to Moscow. Do you feel like even if you wanted to keep being a lawyer, Moscow's a better place? Do you feel like you have to get out of where you are?
If I would like to build like brilliant career in legal profession
So big
and
goals.
working with sharks of legal profession, yeah, like it's better to do it in Moscow. But you also can be very successful in Saratov
But
if
just
you know.
not as a dancer.
No, as a dancer too, but you always can have more.
Okay. Okay.
Because there are in Saratov there are many successful and rather talented people, but most of them in some period of time moving somewhere to get more.
We love the Saratov. Instead of the camera. Hi, who just joined us? What's your name?
Alex.
Alex. All right. Do we want to stay? Are you from Russia?
Yeah.
You want to talk about Russia?
I can tell.
Where are you from?
I'm from. Originally, I'm from Magadan. It's so far.
So far. Do you know where it is?
It's
I have no
very
idea.
far. It's very far. I know this song.
Close to
Едем в
Kamchatka.
Магадан.
It's close to Kamchatka.
Yes.
The only reason I know Kamchatka is because of this game called Risk. Anyone play it?
Yeah.
Kamchatka is on the game.
But now I live in Rostov-on-Don. It's south of Russia, but it's 1,000 kilometers from Moscow and from Saratov.
Okay.
It's close to Black Sea, and to learn dance I need to travel because we don't have groups in our city now.
Have you lived there your whole life? Have you lived there your whole life?
After school, I moved to Rostov-on-Don. Yes, but all people who ask me about, I tell I'm from Saratov because when I start to dance, after maybe 2 lessons, 3 lessons, I find Semyon and Maria and move to Saratov for 2 weeks to learn in that groups, and after they go to Moscow. Now, if I in Moscow, I try to come to lessons and maybe something.
Well, welcome to Budapest.
It was so great story with Anna. She just came to Saratov and she contacted us. Can I have some lessons with you? So we had some privates and then we took her to our groups. And it was like just one girl just moved to the city, to Saratov, just to take lessons and just to learn the dance. And like she's so amazing because step by step, all the community that we already have, like totally fell in love with her because of different things like. Oh. That was so cool.
Cool.
I miss this time when we were all together.
Alright, thanks. Anyone else want to go? Danny?
Yeah.
You're not from Russia.
No. Close and far enough. Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I was not sure from like Slovakia or something.
Well, I've been asked last night if I'm from Italy or Spain. Last year I was asked
You're
if
right.
I'm from Israel. So,
You're from, you can do, I can see all of those. I can see all those.
but no, just Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
awesome.
How long is that where you're born?
Yeah,
How long did you live there? Or did you still live there now?
I still do live there.
Same hometown or did you move?
No, I moved after high school to the capital for pretty much the same reasons.
Huh?
If you just want to advance in whatever, you have to move into one of the 2 or 3 big cities that we have. So
Okay.
That's awesome.
Where's Bulgaria? I'm bad with my
You don't know where
Bulgarian
it is,
geography. I don't know where this is.
South.
No.
East Europe, but
Okay.
also to the south. You know Greece and Turkey,
Okay.
right above them.
Got it. Okay.
In between Greece, Turkey, and Romania.
So where's the closest place for you to dance?
The closest place.
Do you have a community?
We have really small community. Unlike the Polish people last night, I usually win
The smallest.
the smallest.
It's you.
It's just me.
There you go. Hello.
So yeah,
Okay. And where's the nearest big community, or bigger one at least?
not in Bulgaria. So
So do you have to go to events basically to get
Yeah.
bigger temperature?
pretty much, if I
Right.
want to extend my knowledge in
All
events, I have to visit some international events.
Gotcha.
So far, Europe is the only thing I can afford, but
Okay.
it's hard.
Well, thanks for representing Bulgaria. So we got a new one. What's your name?
Janine.
Janine. Sorry, Janine, we can't do everyone's names, but you'll catch on. This is Alex,
I
right? Okay.
yeah.
Where you from, Alex?
I'm from Romania.
All right.
Yeah, we also like Daniel. We have a small community, growing
Yeah.
community.
Where are you from? You from a small town, a big city?
A small town near Timișoara.
Okay.
But
How's life in your small town growing up?
in my opinion, it's a small town with logs and mineral water.
Okay. Well, water's not terrible.
Yeah, no. we got like seven springs
Yeah.
of mineral water. But after high school, I moved to Timișoara for college, and then I live there now.
Okay. And dancing happens in Timișoara. There's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a good
Yeah.
community there, right? I guess we're going in a circle now. Jenny here. We're just talking about where we're from. It's easy, you know.
I'm from Norway.
Okay. What city?
Bergen.
Bergen. Is that big or little?
Like for Norway, medium.
Like Bergen?
Quite big for Norway.
Pretty.
But yeah, the community is not big. It's growing though. So, but
Are you from there and live there, or have
yeah,
you moved?
Yeah. No, I'm from there.
So how does that kind of make you who you are? Would you be a city person?
Do you mean?
I don't know.
They don't know.
I feel like there's people who like the town, the country.
There's only
there
about
are
4 million
people who
people in the
like.
country.
But you have a bit of both, really.
Okay.
Because you have you have lots of mountains around us. You can go hiking. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to share lessons?
Yeah, hi, I'm from Hungary and I was born here and I do still live here.
Budapest
And,
or
yeah,
nearby?
Budapest.
You're lucky.
Yeah, the community is great here. We're really lucky to have a lot of
Did you ever-
teachers, lot of inspiration.
Did you ever think about leaving Budapest as you grew up?
Sorry?
Did you ever think about leaving, or did you always want to stay?
There are some thoughts coming up every now and then, but yeah, there was no such a big reason to make a decision to leave.
Okay.
So it's,
This is a great place. I like coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite cities in the world.
All right. Last but not least.
Hi, Isabella, and I'm from Hungary, but my whole family is living in Poland, so I'm Polish, but they moved here.
This is why we do this part of it.
My whole family is Polish, and they moved here 30 years ago, and I was born here. And then after 30 years they went back to Poland, and I stayed here.
What part of
And
Poland did they live in?
Warsaw,
Okay.
the capital city, and I'm living here, and
Here.
I like this city very much.
In Budapest or
In
other
Budapest,
different part of Hungary when
yes,
your family
Budapest.
came? Did-
In Budapest,
Always Budapest.
yes. I have been living here in Budapest from birth.
Okay.
So
And how we could ask the two Budapestians. Do you feel like is it Budapestian? What do you think? Budapester?
Yeah.
Is dancing big here in Budapest? Yeah. Did you both get into it young, or it came along eventually? Either one of you can answer.
I came into dancing when I was 21. Super.
So like last year.
I was out of 3 years ago.
I started dancing when I was 7.
So 10 years ago.
Thank you. And ballroom, I started with ballroom. After salsa, boogie a little bit, flamenco, and Westie.
All right. Well, that's a good next topic.
What about you?
What?
Yeah, you haven't been Richmond yet.
Oh, I'm from a small town called Scranton, Pennsylvania. Actually, a suburb of that. That's a population of 6,000 people. We're the pizza capital of the world, by the way. If you ever get a chance, I'll make you a pizza and it'll change your life. And New York and Chicago, you got nothing. I dare you. I grew up a small town guy, always with a big city mentality. I stumbled into cities. I thought I would like to be in a city. And then I got old enough to move to cities. And so I lived in DC, LA, and I spent time in other cities, and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Big city. So I think maybe if I ever moved internationally, maybe London, places like that. Maybe. I was looking at a few flats. So yeah, I like because I like energy. I like people, and not that doesn't exist in the suburbs or small towns. But I always say that I think there's a lot of nuance here, but I don't want to take up the time. I always say though, I feel like the people in the cities are trying to do something, and people outside the cities are kind of trying to maintain or maybe build a family as opposed to kind of change the world. And that's a sweeping generalization, but I feel like there's more energy in a city that's driving, let's do this, let's change the world. And a lot of it is, dreams and hopes, and a lot of it's not going to happen, but it's the energy to like want to do, create, and then there's kind of more calm, like let's build a foundation kind of thing outside. It's a little slower for me. Anyway, so thanks for asking. But on the topic of dancing, well, this is going really fast. We're already out of time. I'm kidding. I think it's nice to know. Let's just talk to the panel really quickly, because you shared when you started dancing. You said when you were 7. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then you talked about ballroom, salsa, flamenco. Mm-hmm. Okay, and swinging. When did you start swinging? 10 years ago. Okay, so how about you guys, the panel here? What? I'd ask all of you, but we'd be here for 9 hours.
I started dancing in high school around
the
14,
the 1930s.
I was a break dancer, hip hop dancer. And I went to a very inner city school. I didn't live in an inner city, but I went to the school because I wanted to study at this school. And we had a lot of gang violence back then, and so instead of fighting and killing each other, we would literally battle in breakdancing, and we'd go to the clubs and we would, and then I didn't dance until I went through a divorce. I had to change my life, and I had a partner who did country line dancing, and when I was about 27, 28, and then I saw Westwood Swing. But it wasn't my first partner dance. Country was 2-step, waltz, all that stuff. And then I went into shag and Lindy Hop. That was my first partner dance. Shag was my first.
So how long have you been doing West Coast?
1994 was my first US Open.
All right.
1994. But I was there, but I didn't compete.
That's 25 years.
Yeah.
That's your silver anniversary.
Crazy.
What would you call your first moment of West Coast Swing?
My first competition ever was in Monterey Swing Fest,
which is January.
Yes, and I won it. My friends. Back then, competition wasn't really. It was there, but it wasn't really like it is today. It was different. And so my friends signed me up for this contest, and I'm like, I'm not competing in this stupid dance. Only sissy boys dance, right? You know, I was a military guy. I came from the military. I flew jets in the military, so I was a pilot. So, I was like dancing for sissies, right? But I started liking it. Then the first contest I entered, newcomer, and I won. And I after that weekend, I went back and I started taking West Coast swing like every day of the week.
It's like a drug. You got to taste.
It was a drug. Like I've competed all my life in everything. Professional sports. I tried for the Olympics. You know, I've done everything after. I played college basketball. I was a professional golfer before I started dancing. Like so, I've done a lot of different things. And the competition. It wasn't the dancing was great. The competition was awesome. I did it because I wanted to. My friend wanted me to meet girls. That's why most guys dance, right? At first, and then I got addicted to the artistry of it. And then I started about 10 years in. I started doing a lot of ballet, a lot of contemporary, a lot of hip hop. Yeah.
So a lot of dance. A lot of 25 years of life. All right. You guys?
Yeah, I started to dance ballroom when I was 8 years old.
2 years ago. Actually, I was born 1994. Ah.
And your first US Open.
Yeah. I just knew that first.
You're a dog?
Yes.
Yeah, you're a dog. Awesome.
Go.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
Yeah, then I stopped dancing ballroom when I was 14. And I chose education and school. And I was thinking that I'll never come back to dancing. I will stop dancing and it's enough for me.
After how many years of ballroom?
Ballroom, 5 years.
Okay. And then forget that crappy dance life.
Yeah.
Let's go be a what?
I don't know.
Teacher. Oh.
I don't know. I didn't know. But when I was 18, I was dating a girl and she asked me to let's go to bachata. I was like, seriously? What is this? I checked the YouTube and we already had a YouTube. This person. So we went to bachata class. Then I did after bachata course 2 months. I did a little bit of salsa where I met Masha. And she was my teacher.
Salsa teacher.
Yeah, and disco.
That's me.
A little bit of disco fox. And at the same time with disco fox, I tried West Coast swing. Then I was thinking to stop dancing West Coast swing, but because I was asked to teach by one girl, and it was my dream when I was dancing ballroom to be a teacher, dance teacher. So I was like, yes, and I started to learn this dance.
All right. Cool. So when did West Coast swing come into the picture? How long ago?
2012.
12. Okay.
Yeah. Usually Masha tells 5 years ago, but every time I say 2012, it's not 5 years ago.
Maybe it was 5 years ago.
Lawyer.
Right? Maybe 2 years ago it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I started dancing when I was 17 or 18 years old. I don't remember exact which year I started it because when I finished the school and when I was at the university, I started to do some like local easy performances with a group of people, like some dances, and then I found Disco Fox because I wanted also to do partner dancing, and I found Disco Fox and I started training it, and I've been dancing Disco Fox for 4 years, and then we found West Coast Swing and we started to train 5 years ago. Yeah, so it was like this.
So this is a good point to say, feel free, because it's a chat, I'm just here to steer in absence of anything else. Feel free for you guys to ask each other, to ask the rest of the crowd, or you guys to chime in with a question. If someone says something, hey, what is it like to be like that? This feels like the community I'm from or how I was raised. How do you? So feel free. I don't have to do everything here. All right, cool. So on that note, if no one has any particular questions, we'll move into some more thoughts about dancing. I'm gonna just open the floor to see. I have topics, but I don't know if you have questions for these folks, or is there anything on anyone's mind that they want to talk about or they want to ask when it comes to? No? Okay. No problem. I'm ready. I have a big one to start off with. I find that there's a lot of conversation about, ultimately, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, I'll raise hands in a second. I think we all start dancing to have fun in some way, shape, or form. It's not necessarily, I want to be a professional dancer, this isn't fun, but I'm going to learn because this is my calling. I feel like there's fun there. And then at some point, we probably want to get better because we feel like you can probably have fun just jumping around, never knowing a step, never knowing a pattern. You just have a great time, but at some point, no one's going to want to. I feel like you'd feel like you were missing out on things, but it's also a natural thing to try to get better. So then we think about how to get better, where to get better, where we're going. So my first topic is the differences or similarities between talent, skill, and ability.
There you go.
I'm gonna have to do some major managing of time on this one.
Let's send me on start.
But I want to talk about define any of those. Feel free to, by the way, this is super casual. Eat, whatever. You guys can come sit down, whatever. Grab some things while we talk. I'm gonna keep eating if no one else is, because someone's got to do it. But yeah, so so we'll share with all of you. Yeah, you good? Okay. So you could think about just how you define any of those words, and these are words that apply to life and work, and not just dancing. So everyone has something to say here.
Oh, so we're not going to do specifically towards dancing.
It depends. The answer is you see fit. So I'll defer to one of four of you to start, if you'd like.
Go ahead.
Talk about talent and ability. Yeah. I guess
I can talk with you guys. Yes.
I know. I guess Chuck was making Simeon start. Go for it.
Yeah. So I do not believe in talent at all. Okay. Because as I understand the word talent, it's skill or ability which you have naturally. You were born with this. Yeah. But I do not believe in it. Yeah. In my opinion, that you can improve in any skill if you have a goal.
So, as we discussed last night, I apologize. Maybe I shouldn't eat while I'm talking. Actually, that's better. It sounds like how you view talent is not so much that you don't believe in talent, but that you see it different than other people. It seems like other people define talent as you're born with this, and your skill and ability is how you work to get better at it. And you just see them all as the same. Talent would be the same thing as skill and ability. And one thing doesn't make you better than the others. They're all just things to improve.
Exactly.
Is that fair?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. And then you're kind of looking at the picture where people say, "Oh, this person's talented," and that means they're normally better than someone else untalented.
Yeah. For me, it means
and that doesn't mean anything.
They just worked harder.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Anyone?
I think skill is genetically based.
Skill?
I think there's a lot of factors that contribute to skill, but I do think that we are born with certain predispositions physically. So it depends on the task. Some people are born smarter. Some people at age of 4 played concert piano with no training. So like I've seen stuff out there that just people have this natural innate ability to do something better than other people. Even with and usually I say that based on some of the most talented people are the laziest. They don't work as hard as people who, like we talked about yesterday, they don't work as hard as people that maybe don't have that natural inherent ability. But I do feel like everybody is born with some kind of disposition to do good in something. I think for me, I got my degrees in science. I worked my ass off to try to go through calculus, and I suffered. I couldn't get higher than B's. And then people come in, at 14 years old, when I was in college as a student, was 14 years old, that didn't even have a textbook. He just came in and did the test, got straight A's, didn't even read, didn't even attend classes. Like, and I'm like, how?
I'm sorry I did that to you.
I know, it's terrible. Like, it was terrible. But now athletics, for me, like, I would always excel in athletics. I never had to, like, really work at basketball or golf. I just did it. It was easy. Like, the first time I went out for a golf course, I was, as a junior, I was competing in junior golf, and I didn't even have the skill, half the training that other people had, and I would beat them and piss them off. You know, so I don't know. I think there's a combination. You know, environment. You know,
So
your background, where you're from.
There's
Yeah.
a predisposition for you.
Yeah, I think so. I
Okay.
think so.
Oh.
Whether you discover that or whether you continue training in that, like you said yesterday, I think that's a different story. But I mean, everybody finds in life, people will find out that they tend to be better at certain things. Like I said, that maybe it's because there's money, there's environment, there's where you're raised,
Sure.
where you're raised.
So yeah, so you see the difference between talent and skill and ability.
Yeah, for
Talent
sure.
is what you have. So you guys are opposing on this. Does anyone else want to chime in with your thought of talent, skill, ability?
I think I agree. The ability for me is little bit based on biology and physically things. This is our abilities, I think, and the skills. I can improve my skills to improve this and to get to know how big is my abilities. So this is tools, skills to improve or to know how my abilities. And I think maybe there is a talent, a little bit, because a lot of people have abilities, something, but talent is something more. So how, for example, fast you can, this is skill also, but for me it's a little bit more. How fast you can learn.
Okay.
And talent is something what is little bit for me spiritual also. So something what I can catch. Yes.
Okay. So I bring this up because presumably, like I said at the beginning, we have fun, but then we want to, and again, if you hear them say something, anyone, feel free to ask more questions to the person who's talking. We have fun and we want to get better. So do we have the talent to do that? Do we have the ability to do that? Do we have the skill to do that? How do we increase our ability, skill, however you define these words? So the message that the three of you who answered, and anyone else, would say, keep working. You can do it. You can be, because you're not any worse off than someone else. Your message of, you might have a little something, how would you say?
I just think it's a risk. If you were born with a predisposition, a person was born with a predisposition for, let's say, ballet, good genetics, good hip, good everything, good strength, good long muscle fiber. Like, I feel like the amount of work that you have to put in to reach a certain level might be a little bit less than somebody who doesn't have that physical skill set. They can work their ass off all the time and maybe never get there. I don't know. It's a tough one.
So what's
If somebody is working hard, can be better than who has talent and abilities. So it is about work.
Yeah,
Yes,
of course.
how
Everything's
far.
work ethic.
all right? So I will. No, go ahead, Jenny.
Yeah, I'm just
Jenny, right?
wondering.
Was it Jenny?
Yeah, Jenny.
Janine,
Yeah.
Janine.
Wondering how much practice do you do? How much do you practice? And maybe how do you practice?
You go first because you guys are the current.
Practice
amazing
every day.
people. Yeah.
Every day, just a little bit, but every day.
And I think not only physically, it's mentally also. If you
Yeah.
imagine
Oh, yeah.
that you dancing, it is.
Sure.
I just want to say that maybe talent is the combination of a huge desire to do something plus ability to start it. I mean, if you, for example, have like good voice, but you don't have a desire to sing, you never know that you have a talent to sing. yeah, for singing. So it's kind of combination of your desire to do something and the ability to start it. And then when you start, you can grow in skills like.
If you love what you do.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what I start from. When you have a desire and you want to do this thing because you love it, because you feel that it's drive you crazy. Yeah, and then you're growing into these skills set. Maybe you have just some basic set of skills already, but if you want more, you always grow in some other skills. So it's like a pyramid going up. Yeah.
So that's great. On the talent and the skill, how much you said practice every day? How much do you practice every day?
Every day, but I can practice different skills. It doesn't matter that every day I do the same exercise. I combine different stuff and also like mentally. It's a great thing how you imagine what picture and what you want to see in the future. So when you train your brain, and then at the same time when you train some physical skills, how you can turn into this picture that it is in your mind. It's not only about body, also about brain and mental. I believe in that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Talented people, gifted people
Okay.
have more brave to imagine
Okay.
Yeah.
in the future how big I can be, how gifted, because it's become easy and okay, I can do it.
I actually think it's opposite. I think the people who don't have the talent, as much talent, are the dreamers. I mean, I'll just give you a case in point. Let's just say ballet. If you guys understand ballet, the best ballet schools in the world, Bolshoi, Blaganova, Royal Academy, when they select people at the age of 7, they get them in a room, and the teachers go, you, they make them do 1 or 2 poses, you, come with me, everybody else, different life. Then they x-ray them, they x-ray their bodies, and they say, no, your hip, you can't do it. So sometimes they'll have their hips at 7 years old broken, reset just to become a ballet dancer. It's not, and so that's not a talent thing, that's a physical thing. So if you are born with that disposition of physical disposition, the chances of you becoming a star is way better.
All right, so I don't want to go back to that, but you say that it's brave for people who feel like you're not made for this, so it's brave for them to be a dreamer.
I think a lot of times the people with the talent are the laziest people. I think the people who don't have that talent dream of being a professional ballerina, but a lot of times they don't put that work into it. They try.
So let me bring this into a specific reason. It sounds like, if I can, correct me if I'm wrong, you're all saying, well, working hard will make you better. And whether or not you have talent or don't have talent, work, think, imagine, dream, practice. What happens, how does that advice apply to someone who feels like they're not getting where they want to be? I practice every day. I don't know why. I can't make finals. Whatever construct it is for them that makes them think they need to be better.
I think half of this is mental. I think majority of things in life are mentally based first. I think it has to start here. It has to start here first.
Or maybe they don't have the time to work every day because I don't want to be a champion. I just want to be a better dancer.
Well, here's a great example to answer your question for me. Like, I used to work in dancing a lot. When I was living in San Francisco, I would train. I do ballet and contempt and hip hop and West Coast swing. 5 days a week. I was going crazy. But now as a traveling pro, I don't have time. By the time I'm done with the 4-day workshop week, I'm exhausted. And by Monday, I got to get up and go to the gym, and I do the gym stuff. Then do I try to go to Budapest now and find a ballet studio? I've never even been to. I don't know where to go. Like, I have to search for these cities to find some place. If I go there, do they have an adult ballet class? Do they have adult contemporary? It's very difficult to train. A lot of pros that don't have a base like me, I don't really have a base where I live anymore. It takes a lot more energy, a lot more effort to train every day like these guys do. It takes a lot of self-discipline. And for me personally, it's evident by I get very frustrated when I go into ballet classes and I can't do things. I'm a professional dancer, but in West Coast Swing, but other forums, I'm like, God, if only I trained 5 hours a day in this one turn, I would get this one turn.
So maybe what you're saying is there's a lot more sacrifice. If you have a lifestyle, which let's take it outside of dancing, maybe you fill out other jobs and doing dancing on the side, it becomes a huge sacrifice. So, but it still sounds like work is the answer. You gotta work.
Work is the answer, but it's not just work; it's work smart. You can't just put, okay, I'm gonna practice my triple. You've got to practice it in the right way, the way that will help you gain an advancement in that skill or advancement in that.
So then, is it fair to say that work is the way to get there, but don't get frustrated because it might take a lot? Maybe you have time, maybe you don't. We don't have to really get back into that. Maybe it's going to take a lot more work. So don't get so frustrated if you don't get there in a day or a week or 2 or 3. Keep going. Is that fair to say for all of you? You say work, but it might take some of you longer.
Yeah, work, and you also to work on something, you should have an information about what are you really doing at the moment.
So part of the work is also study, maybe.
Yeah.
Get the training. Okay.
So you can work.
Because you can practice every day on the wrong thing.
It still doesn't help, and I also can say that people who really who go in deeper into dancing, they don't really think about making finals or like.
We'll get back to that.
Okay.
It's a good topic. We have a question in the back.
My question is like, if you're doing sports...
A little louder, please, Gary. A little louder for me.
When you're doing sports, you cannot do it every day because your muscles need some time to rest. How about dancing? Because sometimes, for example, I have a feeling that if I don't dance for a month or 2 and then go back to dancing, I feel like I'm dancing better or I understand some things differently. So how about this? How are you doing?
I can answer. I think Ishirani will be agree with that. That recovery process is the part of your training process.
How often can you do it?
It depends on how fast your recovery is going, and you can try. It depends on your body and how your body reacts on training and how fast it recovers. So you can try different programs. I don't know, maybe like you train 3 days per week, and like you train, for example, you train dancing like 3 times per week, and for example 2 times per week you do gym, and 2 days per week you have just rest, doing some another activities, just recover from physical activities. You just need to find, I think, you just need to find the balance between really training hard and recovery. And only in that case, everything will move you up. If you train every single day without any rest, it doesn't work. It just exhausts your body, and you are not growing. You just kill yourself, killing yourself.
Yeah, like this is if you look at some of our friends, my peers, like the people like the Benjis or the guys that have a work ethic, Jordan, they train 8 hours a day. Most of our dancers that are in that mode, that are so competitive and so they train so much, most of them are constantly living with injury, constantly broken bones, torn muscles, and they keep going. They never rest. The only time they rest is when they're injured. They go to the point where they break.
Is it healthy?
Physically.
Is it healthy?
I don't know. Is it? I think broken bones aren't the healthiest thing to do.
Right. Okay.
But I know.
So you're advocating for maybe more rest, and they could have rested a little sooner than.
But here's the thing. Yes, you should. But in my opinion, if I look at all the great athletes, and I played basketball professionally and golf, if I look at all the people in this community and other sports, the ones that really work the hardest and really put the time into it are always the ones that are destroying everybody in competitions. Jordan Frisbee and Tatiana would work out 8 hours a day in their routines. They'd practice their routines 5 times a day, and then go teach and then do it again the next day. I mean, there's no coincidence why they won 11 U.S. Opens and Benji 15, whatever he's won. This work ethic is crazy. But at what cost? They succeed here, but their bodies break down early.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What would you say?
Just very soon in April we're gonna have an experiment because I've been dancing with Swing for
5 years.
8 years. So, and I during these 8 years I had only breaks for 2 or 3 days maximum in West Swing, and in April we're gonna go to vacation, right?
First
And
vacation.
I'm gonna have a break for 10 days. So we will see. Probably on the second or third day I'm gonna practice in Thailand on the beach.
So next time you see me out, he's gonna be like this big.
And I would say, oh, good.
Yeah, because in my opinion, we lose motivation when we stop practice. Okay.
Huh?
I would also, with this motivation.
Oh, I do not agree with that at all. I think by taking
well-
a rest, it can make you more motivated.
Maybe. Well, let's also say this. Based on what you said before, is it fair to say that sometimes your rest, as far as physically goes, you can still keep working mentally? So you can work in other ways, right? Because we talked about that's an important part. So maybe, it's not so much you need to always rest your body, or you always need to rest, but maybe you need to rest your body and work more. I don't know, if doing routines, maybe you're working on paper, or maybe you're watching videos. Feel free to disagree, but go ahead as well.
What I realized in my West Coast Swing life and the training, I think first I wanted to know what is my starting point, so the body and how I improve it. But after that, when I trained a lot, I realized that I didn't pay attention to the partner, and it was the other thing what is very important. And I started train mentally, but not only. I started to find the connection between the normal life and West Coast Swings and the communication, and I started to find these things, how I can communicate normally like that, and how I can communicate in dance, and when I improve my communication skills in normal life, my dance was better.
Okay. So, does that help? Okay, we're getting close to wrapping up, so I have one topic and then one really quick thing for the panel. But again, it's open for you guys to bring up something as well. I think I'll remember from when I started, and I think the question kind of pops up again. Presumably, like I said before, we want to get better, maybe we want to do more, maybe we want to win. I don't know, whatever your goals are, right? You have your goals. But I think the question is, we talked a little about training and work, how to participate in an event, okay? So do we want, we have routines, we have Jack and Jills, we have Strictly's. Which one should I do? Is there a reason why should I do it? What are your thoughts about an approach to an event, or outside of obviously training, take workshop stuff? We talked about training. We talked about that's how you get better. But what's a value, or perhaps a challenge that comes from doing a routine or a Jack and Jill or a Strictly?
Just our experience with Simone when we started to learn West Coast Swing. We started, of course, from improvisation, because it's the base of the dance, improvisation, and how we communicate to each other, or connection stuff. And we started to grow from this, from like Jack and Jill skills, you can say that. And then when we felt some potential, we decided to do some choreographies to try and to learn something more, because always when you have the choreography and you need to perform it, and when you learn how to perform it, you learn a lot. You learn a lot about the dance, about your own body, about your own personality. I mean, it's very deep, especially when you work on the choreography and the routine. And you also can discover it in improvisational stuff, but like choreography is more about discipline, and there when you can see your personality even more.
So you get things out of doing a routine that you didn't get out of the rest of it. So is that accurate?
I always would like to combine both of them.
Right.
Like I don't want to be only a routine dancer.
Right, but what I'm saying is you've gotten things out of a routine that you didn't find other places. So maybe would you advise other people kind of try to seek that out somehow, or no?
You mean places to perform on?
No. It sounds like, if I understood you correctly, that you learned more about you and your dancing from the idea of choreography and making a routine. So is that advice you would share with other people? Try to engage in a routine, try to create.
Totally, yes.
That these are things you got that you didn't get in the Jack and Jill or the other things you were doing. It came specifically from this approach to creating and building.
But that's my experience.
Okay.
That's my experience. So I learned a lot during working on routines.
Okay.
Huge.
Routines, Jack and Jill, strictly. None of them, all of them.
Look, I just think that
they matter, they don't.
I think it goes back to what I said. It has to do with the goal first. Most people come into dance without a goal. Most people come into dance because they're not dancers. They come in for it's a social environment, right? We come in to seek approval and acceptance and to better our self-esteem. Dancing secondary. But if you want to improve yourself as a dancer, anything that you do will always improve. I think routines build strength of personality. It builds execution skills. It builds tons of stuff. Jack and Jills are very difficult. They're all difficult, but Jack and Jills build skills that a lot of other dances don't do. To be able to dance with a partner with improvisation, like on the fly, is a huge skill. You know, and I think just like in life, if you want to be good at something, you have to have as much experience as you can in all areas. I've done lots of routines, and I hate routines. They're not for me. I don't like them. My memory is like a turnip. I can't freaking remember anything.
But you learned or grew from doing them, even though you don't like them.
I learned execution and what my body can and cannot do. Routines are a whole different game. A whole different game.
Do you recommend people trying, or?
I do, but I think it, not necessarily for competition. It depends on what your goals are. But I think that any sort of choreography you do, whether it be jazz, ballet, hip hop, West Coast swing, it will help you. It will help you understand where you are and what you need to work on, based on your goals. And if your goal is to go out there and just have fun and not care about anything, that's great. If your goal is to win the U.S. Open, it's different.
I want to talk about goals in a second. Do you want to share something about the routine? No. A goal that I see a lot, not to throw in a dramatic point here, but it seems like a goal is, whether this is how it's manifested or whether this is the actual goal. It seems like I've witnessed a lot of people's goals are points. So my question to you all is, how important are points? And what I mean is WSDC points. I find that a lot of people have the goal of getting points. And it seems like, you could all share, it seems like that's how we are figuring out that we're doing better. I don't know, in conversations with people, that's what they say. Well, I don't know, we don't have levels like maybe in ballroom, bronze, silver, et cetera. So I don't know if I'm doing better without the points. So I just want to hear your thoughts on all of you, anyone else too. How important are the points?
Well, I'll tell you, when I first started, there were no points. The only way you moved up levels is by the people at the top putting you in that level. Chuck, you're now advanced. You've won intermediate 10 times, now you're up. Well, thank you.
But as a goal, does it help? Does it help or does it hurt?
In my personal opinion,
it helps me know how well I'm doing.
It depends on the personality, but in my personal opinion, points to me personally as a coach, as an instructor, has done more harm to the community than it has done good. Yes, competition can always spur you, given the right mentality, can always help guide you to be better for yourself. But in this situation, there's so many people that have a low self-esteem in our community that come into this community, and they use points as an artificial artificial
Resume.
resume for their status of life and where they are. And in an artistic endeavor, it's like it's not possible. You can't base this off of your points. There's so many variables.
That's good. How do they then, if you're not supposed to do that, then how do they know how well they're doing?
For me, I always say that if you have a line of people asking you to dance, social dance, and you're making people's lives better, that's great. You know, I think competition, the point system was done because we needed something to put people on different levels to make it fair. But it's become, half of my privates are not about dancing anymore, it's about psychology. That's not what my job should be, you know? So like, I feel like the point system can be used, in my opinion, as a good gauge of kind of where you are. At the same time, you can't use it to defeat yourself. Oh, I didn't make finals, I'm a failure. No, just work harder, you know, become a better dancer. And don't use points to put yourself in, and it's cultural too. Like there's some countries like in France, it's very social, it's a social thing. People won't even dance with you if you don't, they look at, oh, you're intermediate, I can't dance with you, I'm advanced.
Well, I don't want to throw France under the bus. I've heard those stories, and I've also seen the opposite.
But I've seen it, you know, I have to deal with it. And like, I have students right now that, you know, text me last night. She didn't make the finals in Westie, and now she's crying. Why? Why does it mean so much?
So what do you guys think about the points then?
I think there is nothing bad about the competition. I mean, it's when people doing some sports and dance is the physical activity, they always want to like check their abilities, compare with each other. I don't think that's bad. Like to fix it somehow, there is this point system, but when you go, like you can have the goal to succeed in competition. But then when you go deeper, you need to understand what kind of skills you need to build to succeed. And then when you go even deeper, you understand that you need to go deeper into your body to connect, like everything, connect the brain with the body and improve the body to make it more harmonical, so that will allow you to succeed in competition. I mean, I think that's really like smart people and really people that like dancing as also mental skill, they go this way. I mean, they improve the body, they want to find some other skills that will help to get the goal, but during these rods, the goal can change.
Yeah. So it sounds like you kind of default back to a lot of things, themes, just work, think, focus. There's maybe more things than just working on dancing, work on yourself. Points aren't inherently bad, they give us a thing, but that can't be the goal. Be better, be...
Yes.
Okay. This actually leads to a lot of other things about social dancing, which we don't have time for. Did you want to say something on the point? What do you got?
For me, it was never important to have points. Never. I didn't know how many points I had. So my friends told me, oh, now you don't compete in novice, you have to go to... Oh, really? I go to the intermediate because I enjoyed a lot and it was my passion, and the points never.
So for you, the goal wasn't even points, you got them. Well, that's a good story.
Yes, I never. I don't know that, okay, there is a system and I can go really, okay, but I enjoy a lot. But I think we are different, so some people have motivation because there is a point, okay, and there is a motivation, and after that they work. Some people have motivation from only because I have to do it, it's enjoyable, and the points is most frustrated and not motivation for them, so we are different. But my story, it was not, and it was never important.
Okay, thanks. We're going to close with, because we're right at the end here, I've asked each of these folks to briefly come up with a sentence or a kind of I don't know if advice is the right word, but maybe a thought that they can pick a lane that they're comfortable with. I know we didn't talk extensively about this part. Like, hey, if you want to be better, if you want to be good, if you want to be better in the community, if you want to be a better dancer, find something that they have all feel like they can give you really good advice on. I've asked them then to say, in a sentence if possible, to do this in West Coast Swing, or to do this in life, or to do this in when you go to events, or to do this as you train. I think you should do this. So this is the closing statement for the panelists, to say, this is a lane that I feel like I'm good at, and here's some good advice in that lane. What do you got?
Yeah, I would say that I think my advice would be, as I already maybe said, work on your body, connect your mind with your body, improve it, and find always good information about the dance that really inspires you, and express it in your dance.
Okay. You got one?
Love what you do, and you will not care about the points.
Yeah.
Love what you do. Okay.
If you care about the points, probably it's about your ego. It's not about you really love to what you dance. It doesn't matter West Coast Swing or other sports. Everybody has points, right?
And you can love what you do and not be the best. If your goal is competition or something, then you have to love what you do and work more. But if you want to have fun, just love what you do and have fun dancing at where you are.
Yeah.
Okay. No, you go, Chuck. You can't ever be last because we'll be here forever.
It's very simple. Be honest with the reason why you're here, and understand that most of us are here because dance brings us together. Community is what makes us stay. We're here because we're social. Our friends are here. It's a place for us to feel safe, to be accepted, to be validated. But I would say this: when you come in, when you're in this community or anything else in life, be honest with your goals and true to your goals. Why are you here? Why do you get upset when you don't make finals? What is it about you that you're really searching for? Dig deep. The more you understand yourself, the more that you can be honest with yourself, the more enjoyment you'll have, or the more ways you'll find a way to become happy. So if you're here because you don't get attention in your real world, then that's the thing. And if you want to become an advanced dancer because you love dance, you want to push yourself, but just be honest with yourself. Don't do it because of reasons that are
Tangential.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm here for English to English translated.
But yeah, for me, like that's a big one. Just like I said, just be honest with yourself and go home and make it on a piece of paper. What is your goal? Why are you here? What do you love about this community? What do you not like about it? And what do you seek to obtain in this community?
Can I add something to it and tell me if this is
sure.
also part of kind of the other side of the coin? Don't get so frustrated with things that are not working. If you're going towards your goal and doing things for the right reasons, and you have hiccups along the way, you don't get points. You're not getting to ask a lot of dances. You feel like your dancing sucks. I've been there. I'll say that. Just say it's okay. Bad day.
Yeah, but I'm just saying a lot of people don't commit. They don't have a lot of goals. They come in here. They don't make finals. Well, say how much do you work? Well, I don't really work. But my point is that tells me they're not in it for dancing. They're in for something else.
So maybe fun. If you're in for fun,
yeah,
have fun.
But be honest with it.
Don't get crazy about points.
But be honest with yourself. And that's fine. If you're here just to have fun, or pick up a girl, or meet a guy, or get together a group, that's your goal. So don't get upset if you don't work and you don't make finals and you don't progressing. You're the same dancer in 5 years. There's a reason for that. So be honest with it. Be honest with yourself, and you'll have much more enjoyment in the dance world. Yeah.
I totally agree. I think the West Coast Swing at this community is fantastic chance to improve in every area in an enjoyable way. So yes, it's important to have goals, but after that enjoy every moment. If it's sad, maybe sometimes, or hard, but then another moment is fantastic, so it's normal, and enjoy it.
So final one. Okay. Does anyone want to say any? If you have a 10-second one, if you have a question that has a one-word answer.
I have a question.
What?
I want to ask about the balance. How can I train balance in ordinary life? For example, I've heard from Maxime that you need to train these muscles. You need like to stand on one hand so that you have something. I was also thinking about like roller skating.
That's a great question, and it's a perfect question for the end of this because I feel like that's an answer that everyone has it's a question that everyone would have a different answer to. And I would encourage you, if you want to have more conversations like this, find these folks and have a quick chat. If you feel like you want to talk to them for an hour about any things they've said, or maybe things about your body or things about training, then take a private. I know they're all open to say hi and talk, and then Chuck will do that for 3 hours, I'm sure.
I do not talk a lot. You talk to me.
It takes one to know one, so I know one. So feel free to continue the conversation. If you like this, or you feel like some questions could have been better, maybe you want to do it again, but focus on something, let last minute know. I'm sure you have a survey at some point for the whole event. If you think like, whatever, I'm not sure what we got out of that, then that's helpful information. Or it was great, we'd love to hear that too. Thanks to the panelists. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for getting up at like 3 in the morning.
And I had a goal, I forgot to say this on the mic, I had a goal to dance with everyone this weekend. At least all the followers, and if I could dance with the leaders too. I'm not going to get there because I had a couple nights I didn't feel so well, but if you're around, ask me to dance. That's all.
My goal is to dance with Laszlo, but I haven't done it yet.
I'll try to help you if I see you both. I'll put you together. Maybe we could do a steal, and I get both of you in the same dance. Well, maybe that's how I could dance with everyone. Just keep stealing. Just over the course of one song, dance with 10 people. Just